Talking to Attorney Walter Overton, the coordinator for small business at the Metropolitan Department of Purchase. And of course, Attorney Overton, before we had our commercial break, you were giving us some information relative to exactly where the small business department fits within the overall purchase structure. Let's continue that conversation.
Yes. As I was saying, the Division of Purchases is a component of the Department of Finance. Purchasing, let me clarify something that sometimes people in the community get confused. We are the general purchasing department or agency for the metropolitan government. There are 5 other agencies or metro departments that have their own purchasing department. Naming a few is like Nashville Electric Service. They have their own purchasing department. Airport Authority, they have their own purchasing department. Metropolitan Development Housing Agency, they have their own purchasing department. Metro Transit Authority has its own purchasing department. And the school board, Board of Education, they have their own purchasing department. That was due to a charter that was brought about within Metro. But we are the general purchasing agent for the metropolitan government.
With the exception of those 5 that you've mentioned, you generally buy everything for everybody.
Yes. Just to name a few large departments that the people are familiar with is the police department, the public works.
Everything for the public works, the police department has to come through purchase.
That's right. The fire department.
Okay.
Yes, fire department, water and sewage, parks and recreation, just to name a few. Those are several large departments that we do all the purchasing for. From that, we have a structure, what we call a money structure. Those departments that I name, and there are several more, there's approximately 30-some departments that have delegated purchasing authority. Certain dollar amounts they're able to purchase themselves without having to come to us. That's exactly right.
You call that delegated purchasing
authority?
Okay.
That's right. They have been delegated the authority to purchase items that are needed in their particular department without coming through purchasing. Some of the thresholds for the dollar amounts is $1,000, up to $1,000. Those delegated departments can purchase without having to come through us.
Okay, very good.
Those items that are purchased under $1,000 are earmarked for purchases from small businesses.
Okay.
We have mandated that all purchases under $1,000 will be purchased from small businesses.
Now that's a small business component of the purchase.
Yes,
okay.
That's exactly right. And we would like, sometimes it does not always happen because sometimes there may be a need from a department that a small business may not possess. And there are occasions that the item is on contract with perhaps a large business. So at first we look to see if that particular item or product is on contract with Metro. And if it is, we will purchase it from that particular vendor who's on contract with Metro.
Okay. He's already got an agreement with
Already got an agreement. Yes, called a term
he has
contract.
the item.
That's
there,
exactly
and
right.
you can purchase it directly from him.
That's exactly right. That is called a term contract.
Okay.
But if the item is not on contract with Metro, then we want the departments to purchase from a small business. That is $1,000, under $1,000, and we want we provide the departments with a list of small businesses, and we want them to purchase it. And from that list, I receive a computerized printout on a monthly basis to monitor those purchasing habits of those various departments. Now, from the dollar amount of $1,000 to $4,000, we require the delegated departments to get 3 verbal quotes from small businesses. Okay, and again, if the item is not on contract. Right, and if it's on contract, as I stated earlier, that we purchase it from the contract.
Okay,
but if it's not on contract, we then want you to call 3 qualified small businesses and purchase it from them. This stimulates, you know, the competition in small business. This keeps the small business alive and viable. So with the public spending tax dollars, you know, they have a right to you know, be able to compete in the procurement process with the metropolitan government. So those are mechanisms that we have in place to make sure that small businesses are taken care of.
Now, when we talk about, and it does seem as if you are serious in reference to small business and minority business, Attorney Overton, but when we talk about small business and minority businesses, what kind of progress can you tell us, I think you've already alluded to, that you've made in terms of making opportunities available for small businesses and minority businesses?
Well, just to carry over what I had stated earlier about the dollar amount from $1,000 to $4,000. Now, you know, we also have a purchasing amount from $4,000 to $10,000, where the delegated departments have to get 3 written quotes from at least one small business, if the item is not on contract. Now, if the item is one that that involves printing, computer supplies, or equipment, then it must come from, those 3 written quotes must come from 3 small businesses. So
that's mandated.
That's mandated. That's exactly right. So that too stimulates you know, the purchasing power of small businesses. And this is something that I'm awfully proud to talk about, is that small businesses, the small business program was started in the early 90s. From its inception, if I'm correct in saying, Metro spent less than $1 million with small businesses back in 1992. I had an opportunity to look at those facts when I first came on board. And today, at the end of the 1997-98 fiscal year, Metro spent more than $14 million with small businesses. Yes.
And so that is a measurement of the progress that has been made dealing with small and minority businesses by the government itself.
That's exactly right. And to break that down farther.
And let me interrupt you, and of course, for our second commercial break, and of course, when we come back, we'll give you an opportunity to do that.
Thank you.
And we'll be back with you following this short commercial break.